Pray with me. Lord,
Morning.
help us to be good seeds. Lord, help us to be wheat. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Amen. So I don't normally put a title on a sermon, but today I did it because of some old personal stuff. So I titled this one, Hold Up on the Roundup. Many of you don't know, but I like to play in the dirt. I might not look like it, but I really do. I like to plant perennials that come back every year without my help. And then by planting perennials, I don't have to go out in the spring and redo it again. When the plants are coming up in the spring, weeds come up with it naturally, right? And so sometimes when the root of the weed wraps around the good plant, and what I've learned is that sometimes it's hard to pull the weeds without damaging the plant. Dealing with weeds has changed over time, and nowadays we have crops that are bred to be resistant to herbicides, like Roundup. In my attempt to kill the weeds that started growing between the driveway slabs, I bought a big old thing of Roundup, and I'm just pumping and spraying, just pumping. Well, about a few days later, sure enough, the weeds were dead, but also the edges of my lawn. You see, the Roundup ran off and started killing my grass in the front yard. Everybody could see the damage to my yard. In my attempt to kill the weeds, I hurt my grass. I destroyed my rose bush and other flowers just by wanting the weeds to be gone. This seems to be the temptation of the followers of Jesus in every age. We whip ourselves into a weed frenzy. We're so certain that we know the difference between the weeds and the wheat, and that we know how to deal with the weeds. Jesus' parable makes it clear that any attempt to root out the weeds will only do damage to the crop. In our gospel reading, it's interesting to know that this parable is unique to Matthew only. Pastor Tina, what is the meaning of a parable? Later, away from the crowd, the disciples asked Jesus the exact same thing. What is the meaning of this parable? Jesus provides an allegorical breakdown of the story. He says, the sower is Jesus. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of God. The weeds are the children of the evil one, or the false believers, or the unbelievers. The enemy is Satan. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the angels. In this parable, the good seed eventually grows into wheat, which was the crop that the sower wished to produce. Friends, in this lesson, there are 3 P's: patience, persistence, and perseverance. I'll start with patience. Patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay without complaining or getting annoyed. Patience. Remember, the servants asked the sower, "Do you want us to pull the weeds?" And he said no. He answered, "Because while you're pulling the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them." Another way of explaining these words is, we are not called to judge anyone. We are not called to judge who is wheat and who is weed. Patience with ourselves and with others is what we're calling for. Waiting isn't easy, I agree, but we have to wait. And my prayer today is, Lord, help me be patient. Second P is persistence. The quality that allows someone to continue doing something even though it's difficult or opposed by others. Remember in our reading, I imagine the servants would be comfortable pulling the weeds. I can imagine them saying, we've always pulled the weeds in the field, so what's so different now? But persistence is a strength, which is closely related to other strengths, including courage and honesty. So then my second prayer is, Lord, help me be persistent. And finally, perseverance. Some synonyms of perseverance are dedication, determination, endurance, grit, and stamina. Remember the sower? God said, at the end of the age, the Son of Man will send out angels, and they will weed out his kingdom, everything that causes sin, and all who do evil. There's a poem that I want to share with you, and it's called Wheat and Weeds by Patricia, 67. Wheat and weeds abound in our lives. For the purest wheat, everyone strives. What we judge to be weeds can really be seeds for developing souls in the cauldron of fire. So, we must remember and always admire the tassel and thorns of the trials of life, and rejoice as always in the kinds of strife. How blessed the wheat that everyone grows, and how much it costs, no one knows. But in the end, we will see and rejoice, and all will enjoy the fruit of their choice. Our job as seeds is to trust in the promises of God, that God will do what God has promised in his word. Our job as seed is to be patient, wait on the Lord, be of good courage, be persistent, stay the course, and to persevere, be steadfast, be unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, because guess what? Your labor is not in vain.